Hello, I would like to make a video about this knife and keep it short this time, note to self. Seems I could have a lot to say, but in brief, this is an Opinel number 12. I've had it for some time, maybe a year or two. It's kicking around, used it from time to time, had serrations. I don't think they do a plain blade number 12, but they do a saw blade number 12, which is really cool. I'd like to get one of those. Anyway, naturally I always thought about removing the serrations, and yesterday I started using this as a kind of a garden slasher, kind of a pocket machete, as it were. Have some long grass that's reappeared from under the snow. Well, weeds and stuff, all kind of tatty, some's living, some is dead. Around the bases of rocks, trees, things like that, you wouldn't necessarily want to use a strimmer. You know, you're out there in a moment, you see something, you want to just, something I can just always have that's good for that, you know. So another thing is you're working close to the ground, you might be chopping into the dirt, you might hit a rock. You don't want something too precious. So this all seemed to be, you know, a really viable proposal. Well, I think it is, although I've had a problem now, at least one. But I've been polishing on the blade. I spent quite a long time on the blade because I did everything by hand, just for fun, just to stand there by the sink grinding. And so yeah, I've been, you know, behind the bevel, I've been flattening and so forth, trying different stones, seeing what does what. And the apex bevel itself, I just made it nice and steep, so it's robust. And you know, there is enough of good steel here that you can really work with this blade. And even with this steep bevel, this thing slices boxes. It'll cut the corner off a double ply cardboard box. It's a good performer. So after spending quite a lot of time on the blade and out there testing and back and forth, you know, you do some work on the blade, cut some boxes, take the edge off, start again, all that stuff. And late into the night now, I'm start carving on the handle, whittling and filing a little bit, roughing out a different handle shape, quite radically modified from the original, which is just this bulbous rounded thing. So I put in this swoop here with a little hump there, kept the palm swell as it were, put this choil in. Eventually I started even concaving here, and so that feels great. Now you get good indexing, right? Whereas before the thing it just kind of rolled around in your hand. If you're using it, you know, to cut a loaf of bread, it's not very important that it be squared off and so forth, because you start your cut and now you're steering the knife anyway. But if you're out slashing, you kind of want everything to line up. So I took in the handle on one side. You can see that the notch is no longer in line with the handle. That's because I took off material here to get a better alignment, handle to blade. Still off, but it is better than it was. And yeah, so then in the wee hours of the morning, I find myself outside hacking on a lilac bush. And even then, because at that point, I was just thinking to test the blade, you know, test the robustness of the blade. And I actually had quite a lot of confidence in this whole system here, Vibrolock. But after some time doing the hard use testing, I discovered that I was getting a little bit of blade play here. So I think what's happened is that the pin has deformed. This, you couldn't get it all the way over here before, but now you can see the pin is definitely the weak link. And so I think that the pin and the wood to some extent have deformed on the inside here. The whole thing is kind of shifted up. And this can presumably be resolved. The wood deformation doesn't really matter so much, I suppose, since the steel barrel on the outside is, that's very solid, that's very robust, and hasn't, I don't see that could have deformed much. It's not that hard. Okay, there's a little bit of something there, but that doesn't account for the amount of play. So that's down to the pin, and so I figure if I take the pin out and put a new pin in, we should be back to how it was. However, even if I don't go for the really chopping stuff, which was dumb, which was kind of destruction testing in a way, I think even just with the slashing, cutting roots and that kind of thing, eventually the same thing will develop. Now, even at this stage, actually, I have to say the knife would be completely usable. Usable, but it's just, you won't get the same performance when there's that play, It's not jam up jelly tight, as Terry's Knives and Man Stuff, I believe, would say. Did I mention that I put the lanyard hole there? Rounded off here, rounded this all out. So this pommel now works well. It used to have this square there, so that would get you a bit. I'm putting in this swoop here, everything. I'm really pleased with the whole package overall. I think that this is more than just a fun project or a cool knife or whatever. It's actually the one that could be in my back pocket most of the days of the year and getting a lot of use if I can fix the pivot issue. Thanks for watching.